Pitt from Fiery Pit Forge and Homestead again. Today we're going to be making homemade sauerkraut, where we actually start the process of getting it in the jars and everything and fermenting, and then we'll have to come back later on, of course, after it's fermented. But we're going to do several different types of cabbages, and that way it gives a little bit of color to it and stuff, so it's not just your typical plain white looking sauerkraut. But that's what we're going to be doing today. Now to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and cut the hearts out of these cabbages. And now 3 of these cabbages are denser cabbages, and then one is a not quite as dense. It's a little bit more airy, more like almost like a lettuce would be. We'll set these in the bowl while I finish cutting the heart out. And this is actually one of my favorite pieces of a cabbage is the heart. I'll set it aside for me for a treat after this is done. But what we do is we just slice it up, and then what we're going to end up doing is layering in a bowl. We'll put one layer down and then we'll salt it, put another layer down and salt it, and then it has to stay in there for a while. We'll use this and break it up. You got salt for the cabbage?
I do, but I think we'll wait until you got it all cut up to separate it and salt it.
Yeah, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to do layers to where we have the colors mixed in. Where it's not,
Yeah, because I think it'll be pretty. I prefer the purple cabbage.
Yes,
Right.
the red cabbage actually does make a very, very nice, different in flavor when it comes to.
Well, and it was prettier too.
Yes.
So, but this recipe calls for 12 pounds of cabbage and 1/4 pound pickling or canning salt.
Yep.
And I have canning salt in that. I don't know if we have 12 pounds of cabbage there. I'm not sure.
I'd be willing to bet we've got at least 12 pounds of cabbage.
Yeah.
Because these 3 denser ones are
pretty heavy.
well, yeah. I mean, they're 3 to 4 pounds each. This red cabbage was bigger and heavier than the other 2, and I bet these are each 3 pounds each.
Okay.
So between all of them, we ought to have right at 12 pounds or so.
Did you tell them that we're putting this in jars, but we are not canning this?
No. This is going to be old-fashioned fermented sauerkraut, and then we will store in the refrigerator because once you can it, it kills all the beneficial bacteria that you've gone through the process of fermenting to achieve, and that just doesn't make sense. So and we don't have a fermenting crock that we can store it in.
Yeah.
So we're just going to ferment it in quart jars using pickle pipes, and then after that we will store it in the refrigerator. I mean, this, trust me, it won't last very long in our house. Even with it just being me and my wife, we still do enjoy some homemade sauerkraut. To us, it just tastes so much better than the store-bought stuff. Store-bought stuff, I don't know, it's not as full of flavor.
Now you're saving those hearts, aren't you? I know you like them.
Yeah, they've got a nice zest to them, a bit of spice to them, I really enjoy eating them. Have since I was a little kid. You know, when I was a little kid, growing up, our garden and stuff, we would raise our own cabbage and everything. And as a little boy, I picked the biggest head of cabbage, and I probably ate on that thing for a couple of days straight, eating the whole entire head of cabbage. I really like raw cabbage, especially the hearts, because they've got that little bit of zest to them. And I'm a person that I like some a little bit more spice to the flavor.
I'm glad you do. They're all yours.
Which is, you know, my wife likes things a little bit milder, which is why when we season, we tend to season for her, and then I add more for myself after I fix my bowls or plates or whatever, depending on the dish that we're getting. Now the other thing is with us, you know, the fermented foods are extremely healthy for you, and you know,
We're going to try to do more of them.
that matters to us, you know. And we're wanting to get back to doing more fermented type foods and stuff anyway, because it's just going to help us be healthier. And then that'll make it faster for me to be able to get back in the forge and start doing more and more stuff that way. All right. You know, we've got plans to where later on down the road we're going to be building a root cellar.
At least it's one of our dreams, anyhow.
Later on down the road, you know, it will happen. It will happen. Positive, being positive. Now it's like, you know, I will get healthy enough to get back in the forge.
That's right.
But we're going to keep the channel even after I'm able to get back in the forge. We're going to keep the channel to where it's a mixture of the homesteading and the forge together once I'm back in it. Now,
Yeah, that way your wife can say hi every now and then.
well, now y'all can watch our little homestead grow. We've only got about 5 acres. Well, just over 5 acres. We live in a small farming community here in East Central Alabama. And a lot of really good people in the community. And we enjoy it. We had the homestead going, you know, and we kind of stepped away from it when I decided that I wanted to take the forge and, you know, start trying to do it full time.
Let me take that over here.
And so we stepped away from doing the homestead, raising the chickens and, you know, rabbits and other things. You know, at one point we were raising hogs, rabbits, chickens, ducks, goats, and we got away from the hogs because it's too much hassle for just the two of us, especially when our breed stock was getting, you know, they were meat hogs. They weren't your smaller breeds like your coon and stuff like that and all. Let me get rid of this piece. Don't want that in there.
A dark piece.
No, it was a round piece. You can throw that out. We don't want that in there. But,
Socks will eat it.
Well, I like the smell of this cabbage right here.
I was going to ask you if you wanted us to fry that one up for dinner, and we've mixed these two for our jars.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. This is.
We'll see how it fits in the jars and see what we got.
This is actually an Asian cabbage.
Which we've never tried.
That is, as you can see, it's not as densely packed as your traditional cabbages that we have here.
It smells good though.
Yes, it does. It really does. It does. But
someday they'll invent smell-o-cam or smell-o-vision.
well, I mean, you know, we've done stuff. Well, you know, we used to do the salads. We throw in bok choy and stuff like that and all. But we like a variety of different types of lettuces and cabbages and all. We don't want just the plain old, you know. guess you could say domestic varieties. We like a little bit more flavor and all to it. Now, we're also going to be looking at, we're planting a spring garden. We're actually going to, there's another piece to get rid of. A little bit of technical difficulty there. But, so, what we're going to do is just...
Put your glasses on.
There we go. Now, we're going to need a container that we can start to layer this in. Alright, she's going to massage the cabbage since I now have a band-aid on my thumb. That's already been salted.
We've used roughly 1/4 pound salt to about 12 pounds of cabbage. And really, you could let this just sit overnight with plastic wrap on it, but we want to get it in our jars. So...
Yes, because when we're finished getting this in the jars, we still got to do our dinner.
Yes. The salt is what's going to pull out all your moisture. We're not going to add anything to this. Just good old-fashioned fermented cabbage. See how it's starting to get all wet.
Alright, we'll come back after we're done with all this. Alright, it's time for us to go ahead and get this in the jars. It's sat long enough. We got plenty of liquid. What I'm going to do with this one jar is I'm going to put 3 different layers in it. I'm going to use some of this purple cabbage in the bottom, or red cabbage, actually, as it's called. And then I'm going to go with some of the regular cabbage. Well, if I can get a scoop of it, or 2 or 3 or 4.
There. After you push it down. There. Make sure I've got the bowls blocking it. That's going to be our pretty striped jar.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Now I think I'll put in a little bit more red cabbage. And then I'll go with the Asian above that. The others we're basically just going out doing a mix, however. But we figured it'd be kind of neat to have some different looking sauerkraut sitting on the shelf in the fridge. A lot of people don't realize how important visually appealing food is and what it does to get the taste buds, slime, and everything and all going, enzymes to help digest food. If you'll be so kind as to pass me that Asian cabbage. Now it's funny, it's more of a creamy color. We are going to have to end up leaving enough room for the weights to go in on top.
But we're going to leave an inch headspace.
I'm not far from that right now. There we go. There's the first one. That'll be an interesting sauerkraut. Alright, we'll finish packing jars and see how much we've got. Then we'll be back after that.
Put the weight.
Alright, now it's time for us to put the weights in the jars. We've got the brine up over well, you can tell the ones you did versus the ones I did. The ones I did, the cabbage is a whole lot closer up to the top. Alright, now on these four, this is the Chinese, this is the regular cabbage, the red cabbage, and here's a mix of all three. And then that's a mix of the regular and red. She's just going to put Tatler lids on those and then burp them as needed. We're going to do pickle pipes on these.
And we've never used pickle pipes before,
This
so
will be our
is
first
a
time.
learning experience. We normally use airlocks or just burp them. I actually think I have too much brine in this one. But I'll see when I burp it. I'm going to sit them over in a dark corner of the kitchen.
And then what we'll do
Out
is
of the way.
we'll wrap a towel around them. Now, how many days till fermentation, huh?
These are supposed to ferment for 5 weeks. But you can taste them if they're done.
Yeah.
But I like mine sour. So
Yeah, we both do.
if you don't like it sour, if you
we'll
like it
go
sweet.
at least the 5 weeks.
But I mean, they can be done in as little as 7 to 10 days.
Yeah. So I mean, after 7 to 10 days, if you want, if you like a mild sauerkraut, then you'll go with that.
I will probably taste these every so many days.
But there we are. And then
And then we can compare the taste of the
Yes.
Asian cabbage to the regular to our red.
and then a mix of the three, and then the mix of the two, which we already know what these two taste like, and we're always quite happy with them. This is a much more mellow, milder flavor cabbage, with a slightly sweet.
Yeah, which I think will
Yeah,
be really good.
which
for
ought to be an
fermenting,
interesting,
so-
should be interesting. The regular cabbage and the red cabbage, believe it or not, there is a big flavor difference between the two. I don't know quite how to explain it, but we prefer the red cabbage, honestly. So we'll see how it turns out, and we'll do an update video later on for that. But y'all have a blessed one. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.